This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Megan Shepard. It's so great to have you with us. Dangerous Hurricane Irma is making a trek towards the Caribbean, and on its current path, the storm could impact the Bahamas late next week. Management of the Grand Bahama Power Company has laid out their hurricane preparedness plan in the event a storm makes its presence felt here on Grand Bahama. Tonight, Shoshana Roll talks with Vice President of Electricity and Delivery, who outlines their emergency action plan.
All eyes are already on Hurricane Irma, and while the storm may be too far away to determine its exact path, VP of Electricity and Delivery Frank Woodworth says you can rest assured that GB Power is ready. He says their emergency service restoration plan is a year-long initiative that ensures that they are prepared as possible in the event a storm hits.
We would have extra line forces on the island right now doing storm hardening or contract workforce to bolster our own crews. The plan is that they will remain here on the island for the rest of the hurricane season in the event that something does happen. So when you get a forecast like this, we're looking at roughly 10 days out prior to the storm. We're beginning activities now. So the majority of the activities now would be communication based, just making sure everybody, each individual group is looking at their own subplan, making sure we're as ready as we can be, and we'll base our next steps on the forecast itself, so the degree of the forecast and the certainty of the forecast.
Grand Bahama will not soon forget the devastating impact of Hurricane Matthew, and many have applauded GB Power for its swift recovery efforts. Work crews were scheduled to work 24 hours during and after the storm, but he says the company's contingency plan has been strengthened to ensure even greater efficiency.
It's hard to find any benefits from an event like Matthew. But certainly one of the major benefits for Grand Bahama Power was it was an ability to show the island what we were capable of, but also for us to learn, right? So we filled in a lot of what we would say maybe were opportunities to improve, to strengthen. So our early planning, our ESRP, we actually have an active committee, like I mentioned earlier, that meets all year round. That committee is a more practical committee now than it ever was, focused on all the things that we learned from Matthew. So we're feeling good about our preparedness, but you never know until you actually have to deal with the event itself.
And should the need arise, the VP of Electricity says that they can always count on their Emera counterparts for additional assistance.
Being an Emera affiliate is a huge advantage to us, having TECO, a large utility in Tampa. They were very, very helpful to us during Matthew. And they'll be well aligned to help us again. Obviously, if the storm has the potential to hit the East Coast, those are the things that we'll have to consider. But we have affiliates all over North America that can come and help. During the last storm, we had all of our affiliates that actually have linemen here on the island working during the storm, so it was a huge, huge benefit to Grand Bahama Power.
Woodworth says in the event of a storm, their aim is to communicate with every customer via phone or emails to give them up-to-date information. He's asking electricity customers to ensure that their account information is up to date if they wish to get the latest alerts. Shoshana Roll, ZNS Network News.
Last year, Hurricane Matthew put a beating on schools on Grand Bahama, leaving a number of them in need of repairs. Yesterday, the Minister of Education was taking on a tour of the various schools to examine the state of readiness ahead of the start of the new term on Monday. Italia Hall went along.
Minister Jeff Lloyd began the tour at the Maurice Moore Primary School. He then visited other schools in the Freeport area. The minister then moved on to the Lewis Yard Primary School and Bartlett Hill Primary. His final stop was at the Martin Town Primary School. The minister gave an assessment of the condition of the various schools.
Those have not been repaired. Many of them have roof problems and many other issues which, of course, I am happy to report do not necessarily affect the opening of school in another couple of days, but they are irritations, they are inconveniences, they are nuisances, and they just impede the ease of the delivery of education. However, what I find is a great spirit of cooperation and initiative that administrators and other members of staff, along with the contractors, have exhibited over the last couple of days, not so many weeks, in trying to bring school repair into line with the opening of school.
And as it relates to his expectations for the 2017-2018 school year, the minister says all he wants is excellence from teachers and students.
I want nothing and we expect nothing and we will settle for nothing less. I am heartened again by the vibrant energy that I see in the teaching profession, especially in a ministry and in a minister who know what the challenges are in teaching and in education, having been in it for a long time myself.
Also on the tour was the president of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, Belinda Wilson, and president of the Bahamas Educators Managerial Union, Charles Wildgoose. Minister Lloyd says he has a wonderful relationship with both unions.
They are our partners. They are an integral part of the essential delivery of education in our country. They are required to be at the table to discuss not only the benefits for their various members, but also for the policy direction of this country as far as education is concerned. What are we going to do about technology? What are we going to do about upgrading the physical blind? What are we going to do about the professional development of their clients?
Both union leaders say they are pleased that they were included in the minister's tour.
I also want to commend the minister for his energy and his approach to education. He is obviously a no-nonsense professional and he has a passion for education.
What I liked, and the teachers, they got an opportunity to speak with the minister one-on-one and be able to tell him some of the concerns that they have. So I'm aware of what the concerns are, and we'll do a follow-up and make sure that these things get corrected so that we can have a safe, clean, healthy working and learning environment.
Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Italia Hall.
The new school year is ushering in changes at the Bishop Michael Eldon School. The only Anglican institution on the island has a new leader. And tonight, Sabrina Brown tells us about plans for the year ahead.
Kurt Hollingsworth previously served in the Physical Education Department at BMES for 15 years before taking up a vice principal post at Sister School St. Anne's in New Providence. He recently returned to Grand Bahama and is now the principal at BMES. Hollingsworth says he's looking forward to a productive year.
We intend to be more intentional in our instructional aspects of our educational program as far as the curriculum is concerned. So the emphasis really is to build in the system a team of leaders here, beginning with myself, to ensure that we accomplish the goals that we set. We want our kids to become holistically capable.
He says as the school works to maintain its high academic standard, their programs will have a more focused approach going forward.
We're trying to make sure we cover all of the gaps that our students have, because each child have a gap within their learning experience. And if their learning experience shows us these gaps with the various programs that we have, we identify those gaps and then we work on those gaps. We try our best to, where a child may be weak in some aspect of, let's say, the language or the art, maths, mathematics. An intentional program is designed for them.
Hollingsworth says, fortunately, there are no major challenges at the start of this new school year, as BMES has a full complement of teachers. There are some administrative changes, which he believes will be beneficial to the students.
We have a very youthful physical education program this year, with Mr. Smith moving out of physical education fully into the senior master's position. We have new guidance counselors on board that is going to allow us to meet the emotional and psychological needs of our kids.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Police officials and the Road Traffic Department on Grand Bahama coming together today to heighten awareness on road safety. Motorists can expect to see more officers on the streets, and if you are in breach of the law, you may run the risk of getting a ticket. Shashina Roll reports.
Police officials, as well as members of the Road Traffic Department, were out in full force in the Western District as they handed out flyers and sensitized the community on the new initiative, Taking Back Our Streets. Superintendent of Police Jeremy Henfield says that this is the second day the two entities have partnered to ensure that the rules and regulations of the roads are adhered to.
As you can see, we in conjunction with the Road Traffic Department just checking on the public buses, at the same time giving out a few flyers, letting persons know that the police are here. You need to slow down a bit for us. Wear your seatbelt as mandated by the law. So the old saying that they say, either you click it or you be ticket.
He says the officers find that speeding is one of the major infractions in the Western District.
Well, this area here leading into the container port and the shipyard is basically used a lot of time by workers who normally try to get to work in the morning, and so we find a lot of speeding that do go on in this area. We've had a few accidents in this area, serious accidents, and so we know that speed is a major factor when it comes to the Fishing Hood Road and Warren Lavardi Highway. And so definitely this will be one of the areas that we will be targeting throughout the year moving forward. You will see us, like I said, we will be there with the speed gun, patrolling in and out along with the officers out of the 8 Mile Rock District. And it is our intentions by the Deputy Commissioner also to put a cycle or two in the western now end of the island.
There is also a major concern when it comes to speeding near the Fishing Hole Road.
As simple as you overtaking on a solid white line. The white line is there to tell you that you should not overtake. You normally find those lines around curves, maybe at the brow of the going down of a hill. And whenever you see a double white line, that tells you exceptionally no overtaking at all. And we see it every day. We see it every day if you just stand right in 8 Mile Rock or just in the area of Bahamas Rock. You can see it every day. You know, the minute they come down that hill, somewhat overtaking, going up the hill, not knowing what's coming up on the other side of the hill. So it's a major problem that we have, and you know, it's our intention to fix that.
Acting Chief Supervisor Marco King of the Road Traffic Department was also on hand.
We get a few infractions where they're not being properly dressed, where the dress code, some are wearing the golf shirt instead of wearing the button-down shirt, the light dark colored pants and light shirt, which is law and stuff. Some drivers not having a public service driver license for inspection and stuff. Those infractions that we're looking for to make sure that the bus is clean, the dashboard is clean, and make sure that they have their insurance and with them at all time.
Found a lot of it.
We find roughly about 4 of them for the morning so far, and we continue to do it for the rest of the day.
Shashina Roll, ZNF Network News.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Don't go away. There's more news right after this break.